No, you're not. Oh my God. What the hell's going on here? All right, try that one more time.
Testing, testing.
I got you. You're good to go. Oh God, guys, I'm so sorry. Wow. Fuck. I guess you know what? Forget about protectors.
We good?
I I think it's good, man. I'm seeing your desktop, the desktop audio for you coming up. Just do like a scream into the mic. Just
Testing, testing.
yay, we're here, guys. Oh my God, for the many people out there, thank you so much for being patient with us. I'm an idiot. I don't know about technology, and I do know about technology, and this is just a freaking disaster to start. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for everybody that has been patiently waiting through this messy audio mess that we've been going through. Guys, we apologize. It's been 7 minutes of a disaster to start this live stream. Hopefully you guys pop back in. Hopefully you guys continue to stick with us. I'm so sorry, but these technical difficulties arise, man. These live streams are tough. I didn't change any of my settings, literally any of my settings from the last live stream last week. I turned on my computer, and it just turned into a disaster. So I apologize. That's my fault. Guys, we're the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast. Really quick, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at SQDCircleAFP. You can go to our website, sqdcircleafp.com. You can get our KWK figure bodyguards there. They're awesome. They're amazing. So please also don't forget to smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. It's going to be very important. And everything that you like. I saw we got a new like on this video already, and I don't know how anybody liked this, because if I was watching this for 7 minutes, it would be a disaster. But regardless, thank you for the like. Always hit those like buttons because it's going to help us in the little YouTube algorithm that goes out. And none other. Let's talk to Mike. Mike is back again, back to the attack. Wrestling figure style. We have none other today than Figheel. Mike, how you doing, and where can everybody follow you?
What's going on, man? At Figheel on every social media outlet. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. At Figheel, you'll be able to find me.
Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. Yeah. And I will have all those links into the description area of this video when it posts after we're done on the live stream. So if you wanted to watch this, or if you're watching this after the fact, you can find all the links to Mike's pages down below, which is awesome. Mike, I have to tell you, man, I had just ordered the awesome wrestling figure checklist that you've done. So okay, I'm gonna utilize that. I ordered it off of Amazon. I think that's pretty cool that you're doing. I also put your page up here, just for everybody to see what you're doing right now, man. What's in the life of the Figheel right now, brother? I mean, how you doing, and what are you up to, man?
Just staying busy, man. Between all the social media outlets, like I feel like I am nonstop going, because I'm a one-man machine, you know. Which I like doing that. I like staying busy and stuff, but it does get to be a lot. Like I don't think people realize, like sometimes, you know, you don't. I'm sure you experience too. Sometimes you don't get to every message or every comment. You know, like if I'm not putting up stuff on Instagram, I'm working on stuff for YouTube. If I'm not working on stuff for YouTube, I'm putting stuff up on TikTok. If I'm not working on stuff on TikTok, I'm working on a book because I have a couple that I'm working on right now, and or doing podcasts and stuff like that. So I feel like, you know, the Figheel stuff, I set aside certain hours every day for specific Figheel stuff, and it's always very fast-paced, very busy. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's a blessing. I love it. It's like, you know, I got into this. I didn't expect to be able to basically it to be like a second job. And, you know, who doesn't want to do something of a hobby that they love? And this is something I've loved my entire life. So I have fun doing it.
Yeah, of course, man. I agree with you. It's, you know, I think everybody has to be patient. I don't even have close to the following you have, man. And that's just a testament to your hard work and the passion for these collectible items, man. You know, and you just got to be, people got to be patient with all of us here, even with
Oh,
this,
absolutely.
even with opening up this, these figure bodyguards, man. It's like, they're asking me questions. Like, guys, go to the website. Everything's there, brother. Like,
Yeah, man.
like,
Trust me. Yeah.
I would love to sell you like on PayPal and through Instagram and do all this stuff. But like, I can't, I don't have time. Like, I'm sorry, dudes. I'm going to take the 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever the hell it is on the credit card transaction. So you don't have to worry about anything,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like go to the website and I will get it. I try to get to everybody's though questions as possible. Sometimes they slip through, and then also I don't follow everybody, so they may go to that whole little area of unknown or whatever,
Yep. The DM abyss, man. Like
Yeah.
you got to check it. You got to check it every now and then.
Exactly. I don't check it too often, but I try to, and I try to get everybody's questions answered. So be patient with us, guys. I'm going to get this out of actually my other ear. I think there we go. I don't need this wire here. But yeah, so I had just purchased the Ultimate Wrestling Figure Checklist. It's the 2021 edition. This is available on Amazon, obviously. Again, link in the description, guys. Paperback version is $29.99, and the Kindle version right now is $24.99. There's also a hardcover copy for $37.99. I'm really excited to get this because as you were telling us or explaining to us in the last YouTube live stream you were on here, yeah, it's great, man. You need this for just a general checklist, maybe for some inventory purposes, maybe for some insurance purposes. We want to insure our collections if they are large, and I love it. So I can't wait to get this in the mail, and I'll do a nice little review on our social media platforms as well because it looks great. I'm excited to get it.
Sweet, thanks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I personally, I'm very proud of it. And initially, for the 2021 edition, what we tried to present was something pretty simplistic and simplified for people. And got great reviews on it. Everybody seemed to really love it. And the one thing that a lot of people seemed to agree on across the board was they wanted more color. They wanted more pictures. They wanted more everything. So what we did, we've spent a long time, the last 7 or 8 months, I would say, working on the 2022 edition, which full disclosure is going to be full color like people wanted. There's about 10,000 pictures inside of it, spanning across all types of wrestling figures, and hoping to have that out in May, June time. And yeah, I mean, I really thought that people wouldn't care about pictures, to be honest with you. When I made the book, I thought they wanted the content, they wanted the context of everything, they wanted to use it as a tool. But it's surprising that a lot of people want to use this as kind of like an educational piece, which I didn't even think about when I approached the whole book and everything. But yeah, so we got a lot of cool features in it, and a lot of cool people on board with the 2022 edition, which we'll be revealing that as it comes. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be with that one.
That's awesome. I did want to ask you a couple questions as it relates to new releases and such. I know this is an expansive book, and yes, I know only a limited amount of figures are released each year, but yet it seems though every year it's becoming more and more, especially with all the new products being produced by independent toy companies.
Yes.
Are you ever going to really go all electronic with this and kind of just make it like an add-on where if you did do an electronic version, I know you do have the Kindle version, but maybe something that's electronic and where I can X off a box or something like that of what I have and what I don't have. And then I can kind of like download the new stuff into my electronic copy. Is that kind of something in the works or something you're thinking about right now? Because that's something I would love, actually.
It's something that we are pursuing with the people that I work with, trying to figure out how we would make that work, especially at like an affordable platform, because so far what we found is a lot of stuff with that, to be able to make it that way where we could download and make it interactive and saving and everything like that, it's looking like it would be like a monthly fee, and that's something I want to stay away from. I feel like as collectors we spend plenty of money each month on our wrestling figure collection, and I don't think that it's something you should have to pay monthly just to be able to keep track of your collection. So it is something that we're an avenue that I'm looking into with some people. It's just a matter of making it affordable, which is my thing. It's my whole approach to this whole thing is like, I don't want this to be some kind of cash grab. And it, you know, that's what it's looking like. And I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be something that's very affordable. That's just an add-on that makes this whole collecting world easier for everybody. But there are some options, and really just like exploring them right now to see what the possibilities are.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, these things aren't even cheap. If you wanted to even develop an app or something, I mean, that kind of this kind of, I mean, that gets expensive, and people can't.
Well, that's the thing. It would have to be like a some kind of monthly fee if it was like that. And and I have my best friend. He's a developer and stuff, and he was even going through everything with me, and he's like this is not going to be. He's like, for you to not go broke on this, you're going to have to really, it's going to look like you're taking advantage of people.
Yeah. Sell a lot of subs or have a higher price. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if it's a quality product though, and if you can some way, shape or form, turn it into like I said, a recurrent electronical thing, it's a good price, I think people would buy it, because I would. I mean, I don't want to. Do you know how much time it must have taken you just to compile everything in an Excel format or something? Like, I don't want to do that on my own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then it's I mean, it's a whole process of like typing everything up, and then it's like exporting it into a like PDF file, and this one's 500 pages, the new one's over 6, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But again, like, it's fun. And I don't think that I would stop doing the hard copy just because there are people that still like, physical media. Just like there's people who still like to buy CDs, like, it's not really me, but there's people who still like to buy CDs, and they like to buy vinyl records, and some people like to hold things. And it seems like there's more people that want to have the physical right now based on like sales than the digital.
Okay.
So that's another thing that we're taking into consideration is to be completely honest, there's not many sales on the Kindle version. There's not very many people that even attempted to try that. A lot of people either went for the hardcover or the paperback.
Got you. Yeah. And I went for the paperback version because I am of that niche there that loves to just have a physical copy of something. So
yeah.
No, it's great, man. And we're excited, obviously, to see the 2022 edition come out. So very excited to hear about that. And I'm assuming you're going to include all wrestling figure lines, right? This is just not going to be limited to the big guys, right?
No. And we're including a lot. There could be, just in the past 6-7 months, I would say we've had quite a few new entrants into the branding of creating wrestling figures, and they're all going to be in there, big or small. Awesome. And because I mean, that's what I like. I don't just want to collect WWE. I don't want to just collect AEW. I like seeing a variety, and I like seeing all different styles of action figures, and I love everything about it, and I can appreciate all different styles, all different creations, and that's what I wanted to include. So, we'll have more information as that comes. I'm also working on a couple, because I have another book series, the unreleased wrestling figure coloring books, and I have a couple of them. People who are big into the unreleased world really like these books, and I haven't done one in a while, and I've been asked if there's going to be another, if it's done. It's not done. We just started focusing on other things. Yep, there they are.
Yep, you have the Color Mania here, wrestling figures, and a ton of good stuff here. So
so there's a lot of those. Started to really focus a little bit more on our TikTok channel, which we recently got. I think we're at 73,000 followers on that, and that's probably the hardest for me to keep up with, and I'm really trying to work on that. Because the more followers there are, the more comments there are, and the more comments there are, the more crowded my notifications get on that, and it's very, very, very difficult to actually go through them. Um, it's hard to explain. It's different than Instagram. You know how on Instagram, if you go to your notifications, whatever they were when you clicked it, that's what's there.
Yep.
On this, it just keeps updating. So I start scrolling, I look, and it updates, and then I'm back to the top new stuff. I'm trying to go through it, and it updates like every time, and it gets a lot of attention on that channel, obviously because there's like a lot of followers, and I guess there's more people on TikTok. I don't really know. It's very difficult to check that. Very difficult.
Yeah, it's something here where I will tell everybody out there I will never do unless like someone's gonna run it for me. If you want to run it, if you contact
It's a different world.
Yeah, I can't do it. I don't know what the tick is. I don't know what the talk means. I am like, I don't know if you guys listen to Busted Open Radio. I am the Dave LaGreca on that end of it. I do not tick or talk, nor do I ever want to. So
I hear you, man.
Unless it's doing with the time on the watch. And I'm not even good with watches. I lost my watch already. I got a nice watch on vacation. I went down to Disney and AEW and everything, and I lost my damn watch. So anyway, no ticking and talking here, but man, that's awesome. I will post that in the description too. I did not even know you were on TikTok. Yep. That's awesome. I want to segue also into, obviously, your YouTube channel is amazing, man. I want to thank you for the shout out to the new video that was just put up, I believe it was 3 days ago on Sunday, your weekly purchases. We know that you have a set video schedule on YouTube, which is really awesome. And yeah, tell a little bit about that. Tell a little bit of everyone about that. Same things, right? We're going to do heels, deals of the week, weekly purchases, unboxing manias, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, so I do something called Unboxing Mania on there, which is funny. I actually started that, and I started calling it Unboxing Mania, and then because I'm friends with Chick Foley,
yep.
And then like after I did I would say 10 of them, I saw her post something for hers, and I was like, dude, I didn't even know that you did this. Like it, I guess just great minds think alike. And I contacted her. I was like, do you mind? If you want me to back off. She's like, no. She's like, it's not a big deal. She's like, there's everything a mania. You know what I mean? There's Hulkamania, Pasta Mania. There's some in wrestling. We put a mania after everything. KO Mania. And she was like, it's not really that far fetched. Somebody else would think to put Unbox in front of a mania. But yeah, so the gimmick that I do, it is a little bit different than hers though. So basically what I do is I buy tons of stuff, and when I buy stuff that I'm planning to open, now instead I used to put it on my my retail wall with my pegs, and it was just getting overcrowded. So what I do now is when I buy something that I plan to open, I just throw them all into totes. So I have all these totes of things that I have to open, and when I do Unboxing Mania, I just put it behind me and I just reach in blindly. I grab something out, and that's what it is. So it's kind of like a grab bag of unboxings. You don't know really what I'm going to pull out. I don't really know because, like I said, I have so many bins right now of things that I have to unbox, and it's a first world problem. But when you have a lot of stuff to unbox, it takes a lot of time. And not only that, it's okay, I only have this many trash cans at my house. I can't just fill up all my trash cans with just figure boxes. I have, I'm a functioning person, and food's going in and out of my house, and I have to throw other things out too. So it's funny, but it is a first world problem. It's hard to find time to do it. I do my weekly purchases every week, which people seem to like. I have one of my favorites that not many people watch for some reason, but it's Random Wrestling Merch of the Month. Each month I go through and I pick out 5 really random pieces of wrestling merchandise, whatever it may be, and we just talk about it. It could be Halloween masks or pamphlets, or one time I had a WrestleMania ticket voucher that we went over, and people seem to really like it that watch it, but I think a lot of people are just not interested enough to click it to watch it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I find that we're in the media day and age of short attention span. I want to see it now. I want you need to have it first, and then I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yep.
It's so difficult to get past that. I found when I was posting a lot of LJN stuff, old LJN figures, I got no hits, bro, at all. Even whether it be on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, I was just, and then I'm like, I guess nobody wants LJN. Nobody wants to see any of this stuff. So then I stopped doing it.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can, and then sometimes I'll put something up that I'm just nobody's gonna care about this, and it'll get more views. It's you can never really gauge it. But my goal is to have 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're at about 8, so I mean, it would be cutting it close, but that's the hope. I always like to set like an achievable but high goal for certain things, and that's one of my achievable but high goals. So definitely have to put in some work for it.
Yeah, I think you'll get there, man. I mean, you have a lot of year left and not a lot of
Oh yeah,
subscribers to go. So I think you'll definitely get there. I think, for me too, my goal is like 5,000 right now on Instagram. If I can get to the 5,000 mark, we'll do that giveaway, that 1 to 3,000 Jericho giveaway, and we'll go from
yeah.
there. Like if I can get to even 500 subscribers on YouTube, we're halfway there by the end of the year. I would be very thankful. And then who knows, if more, it would be I would love to do 1,000 by the end of the year, but we'll see. Just got to keep pumping up the content.
That's what it is. It's consistency. I found it's consistency, and they say dogs are creatures of habit. But so are a lot of people. So like you gotta get people used to it. And it actually is a thing. There was I would say, because I usually post my videos during the week at 3:30 p.m. and then my videos on the weekend I post them at 10:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And about a month ago, I had like 2 weeks in a row where on Sunday I posted my weekly purchase, but without thinking, when I uploaded, I put it in for the weekday time. So I put it in at 3:30 p.m. And I actually had people messaging me saying like, "What's up? How come you're changing the time of weekly purchase? Like I usually like waking up and watching it when I'm doing this, or." And I was like, wow, people actually do, think about these things when they wake up on a Sunday morning, which is crazy to me that somebody's like, "Oh, it's Sunday morning, I got to see what he got." But people really do schedule, your content in, and they might not tell you all the time. You might not realize what, how big a part of a day you are for somebody.
Yeah,
But,
no, I agree.
We are.
Yeah, you are. And I know there's a lot of other ones out there. Personally, for me, is like the Foosh. I mean, I'm always checking up their weekly. It's just like a great news thing. It just,
Yep.
it harkens back to me like Saturday morning cartoons, like you were a
Yep.
little kid and on Saturday morning, boom, you turn the television on, you sat there and you watched it, you had a blast and you played with your figures and everything. Like,
yep.
That's what I do. I have my Saturday morning or my Sunday morning. I'll watch a couple YouTube videos and stuff like that just post. And I just feel like a kid. I'm a kid again. I can look at these figures, or I can hold some in my hand and kind of see how they reviewed them versus how I'm reviewing and what their thoughts on it is, and everything like that. So it is. No, we are definitely creatures of habit. And I think this is, it is fun that you have a following and people that really love your content. And I think hopefully we could get into a same schedule here. That's what we want to do. The live streams, obviously. We want to do weeklies on Wednesdays and right before Dynamite, and get you pumped up for that. And just be nostalgic, and then check out our videos any other time. But I agree with you. It's tough. It's tough to do everything. It's a lot. Even here, like myself, I have another job. I have other things to do. So guys, just be patient with us, and we'll get to where we need to be and stuff. And then hopefully one day Mike will have this as his job and he doesn't have to go to work anymore. That would be amazing, right?
I mean, that I feel like that's amazing to everybody. But I personally, I don't know. Like, I always my thing always is the day that this stops being fun for me. Like that's just that's my personality. If tomorrow this whole Figheel stuff stopped being fun for me and I stopped enjoying it, you wouldn't see me anymore. And I don't see that happening because, like I said, this is something I've been into collecting my entire life. I think that I'm a lifer, unfortunately, for some people. Because, there may be few, but there are people that really don't like me. And I don't know why, but, I guess that's just anybody. But
I know there are people that really don't like me, Mike.
But, but yeah, that's how I am. Like I love doing this. I have so much fun doing this. So it's not like work to me, if that makes sense. But the day that it becomes like, I'm just like, man, I really don't want to do Figheel stuff anymore. And I guess that's it. But, I don't see that happening just because I do love it. And there are some really great people in this community, I do think there's some people that are in this to really get a leg up on people, and they're not true collectors. But there's a lot of us true collectors out there who we like to help each other, and we like to, promote each other. Like I have no problem. Like when you send me something, hey, would you mind helping us out? Yeah, I'll post. I'll try and get eyes on things. Like that's what this whole community is about. Like I don't understand. I don't understand not being about that, but there are people that, they don't want to help. It's like, oh, this is I can only promote myself, or I can only promote my product. It's like,
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think that's the way to go about things.
no.
I do think that you're right, though. I think there are people that are not lifers. We are lifers. We've known this since probably we were little kids, and because you just have that feeling, and
Yes.
if it doesn't go away, and this is what happened to me, I had got back into collecting after college. I didn't have money. I thought it was obviously uncool and all this stuff, and that's a little bit about my background. But I came home, I believe, during like one Christmas, and I was walking through the mall, and randomly there was a pop-up like shop, a figure shop, toy shop, not like a KB or anything. This is, I think, after KB went out of business. And I walked through the shop and I saw the Classic Superstars packaging, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, these figures are amazing. Like
Yeah.
I want to buy all of them right now. Like I
Absolutely.
saw that Ric Flair with that red robe and that big, gold title. And I was just like, man, Jax is killing it right now. And that really
Yep.
propelled me to get even, back into it, especially after I got a job out of college and I had some disposable income to spend on this stuff again. And that's when I collected every single Classic Superstars that there was, so until Mattel took over the license, and I sold almost all my Classic Superstars to get Mattel figures.
Yeah.
And then, the whole freaking, story. But anyway,
So did you in the time that you weren't collecting, did you keep up with what's coming out? Like, did you periodically check in on like wrestlingfigures.com and just see what the new releases were coming, or did you completely stay away?
I definitely didn't stay away. I think it was for me a situation where I saw what was coming out. I never liked the pre-Classic Superstars Jack stuff, like the Titantron, and I really disliked wrestling during that period. So I think for me, like those Fate scams, those bodies, I mean, they just were so odd. And then again, me like being vehemently opposed to the WWE at the time and their direction as a company and the product that they were putting out on the on television. I just, there was nothing there for me. I kind of was just like,
Yep.
okay, so that was the case, I think there. But again, when I saw those Classic Superstars, boom, 360. And then it was so funny because as I started collecting Classic Superstars and even into the Mattel era, I still wasn't watching wrestling, like modern wrestling during that time, because again, I just didn't like the product. But I saw all the figures in stores, so I knew who all the wrestlers were, but I never saw them wrestle, like Santino and all these guys, like, I never watched these guys,
That's actually exactly what I was going to say to you, is that where I'm at right now in the world of wrestling is I feel like I'm more of a fan of WWE's toy product than I am of their actual product. I can't tell you the last time that I sat and watched a Raw without doing this for the whole time, because it's just not it for me. And I think that it's funny you said the whole thing about like Titantrons. I personally truly believe that around the time that I stopped watching wrestling, the main reason was because like the figures just sucked, and I was just like, I have no interest in this. It was when Titantron started, and I slowly weaned off of wrestling completely. And then I heard about like these R3s, and I would keep up on everything and watch everything, but I stopped collecting from I would say maybe from 2000, late 2000, early 2001 until about 2005, so about 4 years. And the same thing, what got me back in was Classic Superstars. I guess it's just like our generation, we grew up in the golden era, the new generation, attitude era. So we really, our generation, we got like the cream of the crop.
Yeah, from professional wrestling, yes. From a viewing and product standpoint, I thought
that's what I mean. Yep.
Everything, the whole thing, we were in one of the best eras of professional wrestling, which is why this is what I don't understand when younger people talk about it these days, and they poo-poo everything that's going on that harkens back to that. I don't understand where they're coming from because they're not experienced. They just don't understand, man. So I got to like step back and be like, not say the FU, but give you the FU politely,
I agree. I don't understand it. I don't understand it either. Like, I don't understand. I love the Attitude Era. I did. I loved the Golden Era, I loved New Generation, but I really loved the Attitude Era. And it blows my mind when people say like, like it was trash. It was like there was so much happening and it was moving so fast and everybody had a storyline. I just don't understand how anybody could hate it. Like if you are offended by certain things they did, maybe. If you think it was too adult oriented, maybe. If you don't think there was enough actual wrestling, maybe. But I mean, it was entertaining.
It
Like I
was.
don't see how anybody could say that it's not entertaining because it absolutely was. And there's a reason why uh, it had such a high viewing demographic in the college age and up, and it's because it became less about just like these guys getting in the ring and swinging each other against the ropes, getting a 1 2 3, and came more about a story and just entertaining people in all different ways. And we, one thing I'll say, I was just talking about this with my dad the other day. We were going over a list of all the things they did in the Attitude Era that in today's age they would get 100% canceled. So many things that they did that in the climate of today, it's just like I can't even believe it still exists on Peacock, that they're not just ripping all these things down. I mean, at one point it was like Jeff Jarrett's gimmick was beating women over the head with a guitar, and it's like you cannot do that. You know what I mean? Like they just really pushed the envelope, and like it was almost like anything goes then. And I look back, and I was watching it as a kid.
I know. I mean, to this day, when people ask me, you went to ECW shows, you were 15 years old, you were,
Yeah, yeah.
you were what? Yeah. And like, look, it's professional wrestling, but what sells, and it's the reason why 6 million people on a given night on a Monday tuned in to watch wrestling, 6 to 5 million at its peak.
Yeah.
Those numbers will never come back because it's just not relatable anymore.
No,
it's the problem. I mean, when you have Austin going out there beating up his boss, that's relatable. Everybody wants to beat their boss up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a relatable thing. Just for a person, a normal person.
And it's just like
real.
When they were working towards a pay-per-view, and say the pay-per-view was the Stone Cold against The Rock. Let's just, say that. Every week leading up to that, Stone Cold wasn't facing The Rock in a match on Raw, which I feel like they do now. It's like, oh, these guys are fighting at the pay-per-view. And then I see them fighting in some way, shape, or form every week leading up. And I just like, I don't really care. I don't care to see when it's like, when you have that feeling of when are they going to touch? When are they going to actually, when's it going to come to blows? They don't really do that build up anymore. And if they do, it's very, very, very short. And I used to love those big build-ups, Think about, there was times where we had a full year knowing what the WrestleMania main event was going to be. And we didn't lose excitement in that year because they really presented everything in such a different way. I do believe that being a publicly traded company changed that, because now it's like there are no surprises. There are no long-term things, because long-term doesn't sell ad space. Like anything could happen in that year. You don't know who's going to get hurt, who's going to do this. Yep. And I think a lot of the ways they approach it solely because of that. And you know what? From a business standpoint, it makes sense. I understand it. It's just hard for me to be entertained by it.
I agree. It's definitely not it's very difficult to be entertained by it. It's very difficult. I just don't know. I think AEW kind of cleans that up a little bit. They have a little bit better job in having a cohesive storyline, having relatable storylines, having payoff matches. I mean, just for one example, again, I was at the pay-per-view down in Orlando at Revolution. I thought that Punk MJF match was fantastic, and then
absolutely
what was great is it also continued the storyline. Right now, MJF is going to be going against Wardlow, and we got that change. It was like the $1 Million Man and Virgil. It was like one of those things where they kind of built it and built it and built it, and finally, boom, and now you're going to get that feud. And what I loved about it as well, right afterwards, you didn't have Punk come on TV the next night. Now he's going to be on tonight in about a half an hour, but still, you kind of let it breathe. You let him do his thing, and I think that's good. And I don't understand also the haters out there. When the WWE does something very well, like this Raw, I didn't get to see, but I did hear a lot about it, and I heard really good things about it. And my friend even said like the first 30 minutes was really good, especially the Kevin Owens stuff. But when I hear people just write off something, just because it's not the company or not this or that, I just don't understand it, because
Yep.
AEW is really throwing, like, if you're a real professional wrestling fan and you're a fan of wrestling, there may be 3 things you don't like about AEW, but I'm sure as damn hell you're going to like at least 2 things from there, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, because I'm not preaching here and saying AEW does everything right. They do not do everything right.
Nope. There's times where they have great shows, and I'm like, man, that was a really great show. And then there's times where I'm like, man, that sucked. I was like, there's nothing that really grabbed me. I don't feel like there was any movement or any change in momentum. But I have no problem saying that. Like, I'm not, like you said, I'm not saying
I'm not writing it off. I'm not saying it's the best either, but I'm saying I think it's a better alternative to what we're seeing with the WWE.
Personally, I enjoy it. That's my preference right now. Until WWE changes the direction of certain things and really grabs my attention. AEW definitely grabs my attention more, but I also think that that's pretty much directed towards the demographic that is me. So it's not really driven towards children. They do curse, they do give the finger, they are a little bit more edgy, and I enjoy that. And the one thing that always gets me is people who like trash AEW because they're like, oh, AEW stands for all ex WWE. So it's like, okay, all right, well, because they have who? CM Punk, Christian Cage. So what are you telling me? So these guys, the Jerichos, so Jericho, CM Punk, Christian, Sting, these are big name stars in wrestling. So what you're telling me when you say that is they don't deserve to have a job solely because they don't work for WWE. So CM Punk said he would never wrestle for WWE again. He may or may not. I don't think he will, but you never know.
Yep.
So what you're saying is you don't ever want to see him wrestle solely because he's not in a WWE ring. Get the fuck out of here. Listen.
Doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense. These are stars. These are people who are free agents. They're available. Why wouldn't you? If John Cena decided he wanted to come back to wrestling and said he had a falling out with Vince McMahon, he's never going to sign a WWE again, what's Tony Khan supposed to go? Nope. Not going to do it because we're all at WWE. We got to change that. Yeah. And then the same people, I see them comment things like, I watched AEW tonight. I don't know who any of these guys are. No fucking shit. You don't know who they are. It's because you don't watch.
Well, that's another.
It's not just all ex WWE. It's you got to watch it a little bit to figure out who MJF is, why you should care about Wardlow, all these things. Who are these guys that are with Jericho now? You got to watch it. You're not going to automatically know who everybody is, and that's the point. No. Invest a little bit.
You do have to invest, but I do think that the people that have gripes with not knowing who people are do have one valid point. I think what AEW doesn't do well is individual character backstory and history and building of who these people are not done very well. And I think this is just the problem in professional wrestling. They do it well for some of the like MJFs of the world and stuff like that. But like, for example, I know Orange Cassidy moves numbers. I know he's a needle mover. I know that people want to see him. Why the fuck does he put his hands in his pockets? Why the hell does he have the gimmick kicks? Why is he a best friends? Why are they best friends? I want to know, why are they driving in the minivan with the mom? There's so much more depth in there that they can get into, but I think it's because of just the shortened television time and all this stuff. I think that's the inherent problem.
The presentation is so shorthand. It's presented in it's quick bursts of little segments, and sometimes each segment has multiple segments within it where you're attacking different little storylines. Yep. And not to mention, one thing that my gripe with AEW is signing too many people. And I feel like it's too many people. That not saying they don't deserve to be signed, but I don't think that they should be a priority to sign certain people they're signing. Why are you signing, I don't want to say any names. Why are you signing this person solely to put them on dark? You have plenty of people on the roster already to throw them on dark or elevation. Let's focus on either star building or throwing somebody into a loop who's going to make a difference on your main television show. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, and I do think that all of the so-and-so is all elite posts. I think that really counts negatively towards them in the internet wrestling community. It's like, oh, this person's all elite.
I just signed this one. Well, I think so. Here's my sources, and again, I think they're pretty valid. I think Ring of Honor is going to be a lot of these people that you do see on the dark matches and such. They're going to get thrown into Ring of Honor. I think like the people like Swerve, they're going to do a lot of Ring of Honor work. I think the Jay Lethals of the world are going to do a lot of Ring of Honor work. And I think there's going to be tweeners in there where they're really going to be calculated on who your main superstars are going to be. And that is going to be the superstars on Rampage and Dynamite. And also keep this in mind. They're going to have a streaming platform eventually, right? So they're going to move to HBO Max or whatever the heck the deal, whenever the deal's finalized. I guess all the rumors are going around. It's HBO and AEW. All right, great. So you're going to have all that content on there eventually. And they are going to, like Tony just said today in the afternoon on the radio, he said, if Ring of Honor, if this first pay-per-view does extremely well, and he's going to put out a really freaking good pay-per-view for everybody, it's going to garner TV interest. It's going to garner time slot on TV. So you're going to see a weekly show eventually. I mean, that's what I got from what he was speaking about. So then personally, I think what'll happen is a lot of like that mid to high, like that mid kind of almost high level talent would like be featured on Ring of Honor with all those other lower people to kind of boost them up and create storylines and stuff like that. And then obviously we know Rampage is probably going to move in its time slot and get another hour eventually as well. So I think going back to our original discussion, as they continue to develop as a company, look, they only lost $10 million last year. I mean, that's incredible, I think, for a new company. If you're only losing $10 million, especially like during a pandemic and you're signing all this talent, I think you're doing an incredible job. And I think we're in for a long haul here. Just be patient with them and we'll get there, you know? And I think there are a lot of flaws, but I'm excited for tonight's show. It's going to be a banger show. Really quickly though, you did mention something about wrestling figures and interested product. You say you love the WWE figures, but you don't like the product now. For me, I feel, I don't know, like I'm not connecting with elites anymore and that stuff, but I'm more connecting with stuff like superstars. And I know you had just obviously reviewed the unboxing of the Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I wanted to get your thoughts on that, really, aside from the interview stuff and the unboxing you did. I mean, what do you think of this line? And I mean, where do you think it could go, man?
Yeah, so when I say that, I'm talking about like just all of their toy products. So I'm very big on the retros. I do love elites. My thing with elites, what I think is happening is that, they've had the license for so long. Yeah. And, my collecting rules, I would say, are legends and first time in the line guys.
Yep.
Okay, so what does that mean? First time in the line guys, the majority of them are often NXT guys. I don't watch NXT, so I still buy them, but I mean, I'm not connected to this guy that I'm buying. I just bought the Joaquin Wilde I'm looking at right now and the Raul Mendoza. Couldn't tell you a single fucking thing about them. I have no idea. I was going to
ask you, who the hell are these guys?
I only know their names because they got a basic and it's first time in the line. And my whole thing is like, it's a rookie figure. I don't know them now, but maybe I will. How do I know that Raul Mendoza isn't the next Roman Reigns? I don't watch NXT, but I still buy them because I think it's cool to have those rookie figures, even if I don't really know who they are. I like obscure things. And then legends. All right, let's talk about legends. I don't really know what they could possibly do that they really haven't already done with the talent that they've got signed, as far as legends go. Like, well,
why do you think we're getting Zodiac and Goon?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I like that though. I like those, but I'm talking things like, like the Scott Halls of the world, or British Bulldog or Yokozuna. How many friggin' white pants Yokozunas are we gonna get? And I think that they're just running out. It's like, man, we've really hit these key things. Like, there's only so much we can do, and I think it's getting to that point. Like we just saw. I mean, we just saw that re-release of the. Bret Hart, the older Bret Hart in the jorts. They're starting to re-release stuff, and I know that they have that greatest hits elite line coming out where it's basically going to be re-releases.
Yep.
That's my biggest problem with elites is that I feel like it's just kind of they got into a stride, and then it's like, all right, well, what else do we have? And it's not their fault. They put out great quality product for so long that it's kind of like at some point you pigeonhole yourself as far as, you know, legends of the past, because the thing about the past is that it's in the past. There's no changing it. It's what's there is what's there. So, you know, like there's only so many Ted DiBiase's. There's only so many, you know, Jake the Snake, so you can have that are actually going to be that different.
Yeah.
But to get to what you were saying, Superstars, it's my favorite line right now. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I'm looking at them right now. I have a whole loose set, and I almost have a complete mint on card set. I'm only missing Bray Wyatt mint on card, but I think they're perfect. I was bummed when Masters of the Universe ended, because I really liked those figures. When I saw these, I was like, Masters of the Universe, I don't even care about them anymore. Get them out of here.
Yep.
I really don't care. These are so above that. And I know this is probably gonna be controversial, but here's Superstars for me, and my interest in retros is like down here.
Oh,
like
Mike,
if we only got one more set of retros and we continue to get Superstars, I wouldn't be upset about it, because I think that the quality of this product is so high that like it's not they're not even close. Like retros and them are not even close.
No.
I've even gone on to say that this Superstars line, for me, because I don't want to put it out there as fact, but for me, this is a top 5 line of wrestling figures of all time for me.
Yep. I'd have to agree with you with that sentiment. I think if they continue to do what they're doing, and they continue to give the accessories and the beautiful packaging, and just even the tie-ins in the packaging around the back, and just with the sayings and everything, and the copy
shirts.
and the shirts, and dude,
yep,
it could be one of the best lines of all time. And who cares about retros? Also, when I'm going to kind of segue here, when you have other companies giving you guys that you really want, and Mattel's not really giving you the guys that you really want. I don't want replacements, guys. I'm sorry. For a retro collector and a Hasbro collector, I don't need another Razor Ramon. I don't need, and I think we're falling into the category of some of these too, even like the Zombies Andre, but this Andre, I mean, this is freaking a work of art.
It's beautiful.
It is one of the best figures that are ever going to come out.
But see, like what you're saying, like for me, like my whole thing with Zombies was I'm only going to get Hasbro era guys from Zombie.
Yeah,
I can't be a completist on it.
Yep.
But then I see this Andre, I'm like, it's great. It's great, but do I need an Andre? Do I need it? I don't.
You need this Andre, bro.
I just don't. I don't know if I do. Like, it's so good.
I'm
almost
one of the.
I'm almost Andre'd out.
Yeah,
I'm almost Andre'd out, dude. Like, how many black strap Andres or blue strap Andres do we need? And like again, that comes down to there's only limited things in the past, but and I guess for this, like maybe I'm just getting to the point with Hasbro's. Maybe it's so overkill because we have Mattel, Zombie, Cella, and like I'm a huge fan of the work that they all put out. It's becoming less and less exciting for me. Whereas I see something like these Superstars, and I can just see the potential in it. I think
yes,
and I've gone on to say about the Hollywood Hogan that I think that is the best Hollywood Hogan figure ever made. And the reason I say that is because of the amount of Hollywood Hogan components that it is nailed. I'm not saying that you need this to go into your figure fed going up against elites. I'm just saying the way that they nailed it. Now, the Ultimate's really great. The Ultimate doesn't have the tan that this Superstars figure has. The Tim they nailed on this Superstars, it's perfect. I think the head where he's doing the lip quiver that he always did on Nitro back in the day, nailed it. That's not in the Ultimate. And I think those two components alone would have really brought that Ultimate home. And I know a lot of people love it, but I felt like that Ultimate was missing something. And I really thought that was going to be like the best Hollywood Hulk Hogan figure ever. And for me, it didn't fall flat, but it didn't really hit the expectations that I think it could have. But
I agree. I agree. And
This,
these boots are great. I mean,
yes,
the
the
tampo on
gloved
them, the
hands,
gloved
like,
hands. And I think I haven't tried this, but in seeing the hands in person, and again, I've just been so busy, I think you can probably interchange these with your elite figures, no?
it's hard to tell because I know the other ones you can't, like the Ric Flair and like, but I don't know if those like C grip style hands you can or not. I'm not sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I would
But
be interested to see if I'm wondering if you can, because I was looking at the Honky Tonk Man's extra hands too, and I'm like, man, these look a lot like elite hands, you know?
yeah, they kind of do. But I'm just wondering if they'll be like slightly smaller. I don't really know.
Yeah,
But
I don't
like
know.
even the way that the bandana is fit on Hulkster's head, I think it fits so snug that it looks like he's wearing a bandana. It doesn't look like they just threw a piece of rubberized, um, molded rubber on top of a figure and called it a day. Which I feel like some of those Ultimates like heads kind of looks like that. It doesn't look right. It looks like too bulky on his head. This is like fits perfectly, and I just think they really nailed the components of Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And we have this is Series 1. It has Honky Tonk, Hogan, Bray, and Ric Flair. And Series 2 has The Outsiders, Shawn Michaels, and Ultimate Warrior. That's 2 series, and I feel like Series 1 is great, but I feel like Series 2 is like insane. And we got that preview of the Papa Shango, which I think looks
The
great.
Papa Shango looks good. I saw that. Yep, yep.
I just hope they put the chest tats on. I don't know why that wasn't there. It could just be that it's like an early
Prototype.
yeah. I can't see them not putting the chest tats on there. But I have high hopes for this line. I just think it's like
I
something
agree. I agree.
and it's one of those things like we didn't ask for it. We didn't ask for this line. We just got it. And it's like, man, like it blew me away.
Well, I was always asking for a line. I was very, very vocal about this. That is more playable, more toyetic, more. I wanted something fun, right? That was we have, like you said, Hasbro's, like.
Yeah.
But I was always yearning for, and we got the Motu stuff, and I kept saying, this is amazing, but I don't want this fodder because I'm not a Motu guy at all. I do not collect any of it, and I just never gravitated towards it.
Yeah.
But in seeing that you could strip down the figures, and I do have a nice little prototype display of all these here in front of me, they look great. And I knew that this could eventually develop into something like this. So I was super excited when they released this announcement. And like you said, it's just new. It's fun. I think there's so much. And again, now you're looking at the possibility of making all these legends, because it's going to be strictly legends focused, as from my memory, from what I remember them saying, it'll be legends focused to start. This goes above and beyond, like you said, with the Michaels and everything we're getting in Series 2. I mean, it looks amazing. And I think because of the price point of this figure, and because of such, they can just reuse, and you don't even think it's reuse, right? Because most of the molded parts are, because they're interchangeable and all this stuff, and with the Motu line. I think they could do so much more with adding accessories. I wanted to quickly just say with the Hogan, the only thing I missed on the Hogan, they needed some cloth boas in there, and it could have been one of the best wrestling figures of all time. I really do think so. And not to say we won't get it in a future Hogan, because they're going to do Hogan again on this line, and they'll do red and yellow and everything like that. If they can give him some cloth, feathered kind of style, like old school classic superstars boas, man. I don't like the plastic shit they've done with the elites at all. I think it looks terrible. I'm sorry. I don't care what Bill wants to justify it or whatever. The cloth looks so much better. If they can do that in a future release, that would be amazing. Really,
see, my thing, because I did a video unboxing, and my thing was I addressed it like, there's could be boas, but I also addressed like, this could be like an earlier Hollywood where he didn't really have the boas all the time.
Yep.
So, but my thing is I really wish that he had a gold chain, and I really wish that the belt was like a vac belt, like a shiny vac belt.
I was kind of teetering, right? I was like, I agree with that.
It looks good.
It looks great. No, I agree.
And who knows? I didn't try putting a vac belt on him, but maybe if I did that, it would kind of lose it, because it's not really. It's a different style, Like, so maybe that could be my complaint could be completely invalid. You know what I mean? Once I actually put the shiny VAC NWO belt in his hand, it might be like, it looks kind of tacky with this style figure.
Yes.
I don't know. But those are just the two things that I think could have brought it to the next level.
Yeah. And it could, hey, look, in a future release, I would love to get the old Hulkster shirt with him on it, or the one with the skull, the Hogan skull, and the wings on the side. So they could even do these and then have it like you could have an earlier Hollywood Hogan, like you're saying, and then kind of a later NWO one when he wins the title and stuff like that. I mean, I think the possibilities are really endless with this line. I absolutely love it. I really want to get your thoughts though on some of this stuff that I mean, the Cella announcements before we get going here. Man, I don't really have any communication with Cella, and I know some of these guys are, and I've been very hesitant to kind of promote a lot of their stuff because of this, but like what they're doing, I don't know how legally it's possible, but they're really crazily going, and I know it's all about licensing agreements and trademarks and stuff, but Macho Man, Jesus Christmas, and like
so I'm up until the I got these superstar figures. These bone crunching wrestlers line from Cella and Figures Collections, that was my number one most anticipated line of the year. I'm a big BCA guy. That was just like, in the time that BCAs were out, I think I was like 8 to 12, and like it was just like a key time of playing for me.
Not a BCA, but a slammer here in our
there you
protectors.
Go. Yep. See, it was like I think there's like that nostalgia for me that like seeing these, like I'm very excited to get these, and all of them. And I'm even gonna I decided I'm gonna collect these loose. Okay. I was gonna do loose and mock, but I think that things are just getting way too expensive now. I'm gonna do loose, put them on with my original BCAs, but I'm very excited for this. They're currently my second most anticipated now that like Superstars here, because these are beautiful. But so I was talking with Figure Collections, and this is 100% legal. It was very pricey for them to get Macho, but Figure Collections, they're very, very passionate about BCAs, and something that they really, really wanted. It was a dream figure for them as collectors to have a BCA Macho Man, and they went for it. And I told them, I said, I think this might have been expensive, but I do think that this is going to help launch the line in a much more positive way. It's going to get much more attention and more eyes on it, and really pique the interest of people.
I agree. I mean, Macho Man is iconic, right? I mean, and nobody's making a wrestling figure of him. I mean, God, we got that horror, and I know you have one that you unboxed and stuff, but that basic with the blue tights, I know it's a very throwback figure. I did not get it. I don't want those Macho Man figures. I want, like, if you're giving me a Macho, I want it all decked out in Ultimates form, and that's it. Like, I don't want those sub Macho Man figures. And I know they do it. They have to do it, and whatever, they're contractually agreed probably to X amount of figures per year, et cetera, et cetera. But no, for me, I really like this figure. Knowing that, and I love, again, I want to have Cella on here to explain everything, because again, some of the licensing agreements and stuff and the trademark issues, I'd love for them to discuss it and actually put it out there for people, because I think there's a little hesitation, like, is this legitimate? You know what I'm saying?
I understand. Totally understandable too.
Yeah.
And
I know FC. I know Figure Collections. I love their YouTube channel. They have a complete history of BCA figures and a lot of lines, like old school wrestling figure lines. And they do an incredible job in kind of almost like a documentary, almost like educational video, going throughout the history of some of these lines. So I know they're extremely passionate. They have a legitimate retail operation as well. I'm not saying they're not a legitimate company, but at the same time, I'm just like, wow, you just got Macho. Why the hell doesn't everybody else? And I know it's money. Obviously, everything is money. But, it's just, it amazed me. And I will be getting this BC. I was not going to go in on this line. But like you said, sometimes you just have to pick and choose, because, I mean, who's not going to buy this Macho Man? Come on. Let's be realistic.
And I just, and I mean, I saw some complaints, they wish that they had a shirt. I totally understand why it doesn't have a shirt. just based on the quality and I mean and the style of BCAs, like not every figure had their entire attire. It wasn't it was kind of commonplace to get a guy in his wrestling tights and not have his entrance top that he wore. So I mean, it totally makes sense to me. I like it. I think it's great. I think even the style of legs. I love that they use, like, for the boots, it's almost like that Davey Boy Smith tassel style boot. It almost looks identical, but it's on those, like, I guess you'd say Triple H, later Triple H figure style legs, but he has like those tassel boots, which I think is pretty cool. They really tried to, I think they really tried to stay true to the format of BCAs, which I love, and I'm excited for it. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they feel like, if they feel like real BCAs or if they're going to be a little bit more stiff. I got to imagine it's not going to be easy to recreate that technology of the rubberized arms and such like that, or rubberized legs. I sometimes when people try to recreate things like that, it just doesn't ever nail. So I'm really curious to see how they do that.
Well, I think they'll definitely be able to do it. I know I saw an early production sample of some samples. They had a video and they showed it, how it crunched and how it flexed and stuff. I mean,
like how it feels. Like is it gonna be tighter? Is like, you can have that mechanism and then cast like a hard rubber over it and then it just literally doesn't move. Like, or click or not that I really care. I'm just really curious to see how it all pans out in the end.
Yeah, I am too. I may, if I see Meanie at a merch table and he has a couple figures, buy something off of him or something. But this will be my definitely first BCA from FC and Cella. I mean,
I already pre-ordered Meanie when I was a kid. I wanted, I knew that he was a local guy. I really wanted a Blue Meanie BCA figure, and I'm very excited about the fact that I'm going to have one. I'm going to have a Blue Meanie BCA figure, as close to the real thing as you can get.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I give it to everybody that's trying to start their own figure lines. It's not an easy thing to do. There's a ton of red tape. There's a ton of legal issues that you have to go through to do this. And then the climate is probably one of the worst climates to be in, production-wise and supply chain management-wise, that we've ever faced as a society. So I mean,
not even just that. I think that now, maybe like 6 months to a year ago was a perfect time if you wanted to make wrestling figures, get into it. Now, I truly believe that this market is getting so oversaturated.
Yeah.
I truly, truly believe that. Like, I think it's great. We say it's so cool. We have so many people making wrestling figures. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. But what happens when something gets so oversaturated is that people start to buy less. And if you're not bringing something that's really different or has substance or people really need, I'm not sure that it's going to be as successful. I'm not saying that some of these companies aren't going to be successful. I'm saying you really got to, now that there's so many people in it. I mean, we got people making, these mini Galoob style. We got people who are making like these Mexican bootleg style figures of people. We got Cella, we got Zombie, we've got, there's so many people making figures, and it's just like, then you're competing with these big companies like Jazzwares and Mattel, who are able to produce these things at much cheaper rates and sell them for much cheaper rates, even though their rates are going up. And it's like, man, like,
good luck.
I mean, for instance, Cella, one thing with them is these UK exclusive ones. I really wanted that Al Snow retro figure. I'm not spending $85 for an Al Snow retro. I'm not. So I didn't buy it. And that, I think that's another thing. It's like, all right, well, this is an overseas company. Like, are you going to make more of these UK exclusives? The Demolition's going to be a UK exclusive. I'm not spending $170 on a pair of Demolition retros when I have the originals.
Do you think and do you think, and again, I love to talk to Chad. I think they're doing QK exclusives for a lot of this stuff because they can't get around the legal rights in the US. I really do. And again, I don't want to assume.
Well, no, that's not. I can tell you what it is just from an experience. Yeah, from experience, because I did discuss. I considered getting into the figure game, and I ended up opting out. But essentially, what it is, so you see how certain people have, so Wrestling Trader is the UK where they're having certain exclusives.
Yeah.
I don't even, you know what, full disclosure, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I mean, I'm sure anybody who is interested has probably gotten the spiel. Figure collections, they have some Cella Toys exclusives. So the way that it works with Cella is what they do is, if you would like to do an exclusive with them, you sign the talent with your money.
Oh, okay.
They handle the production.
Unless it's already signed talent, if you wanted to do, let's say, a variant or something, correct? Because they've already signed the talent for the variant.
They don't want they're getting out of the variant game.
Okay.
They want to get out of the variant game. They don't want to do variants anymore.
Okay.
They're doing variants on like older ones, like they're doing like an Ethan Page right now, because not many people got to get that because it was only limited to 500. Yeah. They kind of undershot. They undershot known. How. Yes.
Well, they didn't know he was going to be an AEW TV time. And everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So essentially, Wrestling Trader, I mean, they ended up working out a deal with Figure Collections to do, you know, co-op with the Gangrel, which I got from Figure Collections. But if they're putting out their dime to sign these guys, I can't really blame them for not wanting to also give some to Figure Collections to sell.
Yeah.
You know, just from a business standpoint. So, I mean, we'll see how it all works out, but that's what it comes down to. Is like they're going out, they're finding the talent, they're signing them, they're working out the kinks, and they, when they sell, they're the ones that are in charge of getting the royalties to the talent. So I think a lot of like contractual obligation is lost from Cella and transferred over to the retailer.
Oh wow, okay, I did not know that.
If that makes sense?
Yeah, a lot of sense. And I'm sure that's the same with Ringside Collectibles when they partner with Mattel or Jazzwares with their exclusives too, to a certain extent, but they're kind of within those limitations of okay, it has to be
it's interesting
talent that's contractually there. No, it is. I mean, it's business, and I think there's not much known to that. And as we say that really quickly as well, you know, look, you have Kickstarter campaigns for Stan Hansen and Vern Gagne and stuff, and Luthez. I mean, let's be realistic. These figures look amazing. I'm not saying they don't, but I mean, I don't know if I'm buying these, you know, like Magnum looks amazing. Ted DiBiase looks amazing. But like you said, the market has become so oversaturated. I mean, are people going to pick up a Vern Gagne? Are people going to pick up a Luth? I don't know, man. I don't even know if I would, you know, we'll see if the Kickstarter, look, there was a company that tried to pull up basic figures, right? Referees and stuff. That Kickstarter campaign, it failed. I mean, and I did not have much hope for that as it was, just because I think we should get that in normal lines, right? I mean, if you have a Mattel line, you should get a referee. If you're in a Jazzwares line, you should get like an Aubrey, you should get a referee.
I agree.
You know?
See, I mean, for somebody like Vern Gagne, for somebody like Luthez, and this is no disrespect to them as professional wrestlers, they're not in my, they weren't on my radar as a kid. And, you know, they were well out of their careers when I was a kid watching wrestling. So I don't have that emotional connection to them. For me to pick up a Vern Gagne and a Luthez, the price point's got to be right. And I can tell you right now, I don't see these having a price point of under $40 each.
No,
and that's
especially
just
on a Kickstarter campaign, not at all. And they'll probably do a package deal or something, you know?
Yeah, and that's just not there for me. I mean, you know, I have the Elite Magnum.
Same.
I like Kerry Von Erich, but I'm not too crazy about that one.
I have his Elite, so I'm good.
I would like a Stan Hansen. I do think the Ted DiBiase is really cool, but full disclosure, I had no fucking idea that Ted DiBiase ever wore that until this prototype came out. So
Same
like,
here.
do I need that? Do I need it? I didn't even know it existed until they put this.
Oh shit! I lost your audio, Mike. There you go. You're there.
Good.
Yeah. I don't know what happened,
All right.
but I lost your audio.
Me either.
You're back.
But yeah, like they look great, and it's not about look. It's about, you know, I have so many figures. Is this something that I need? Am I really, really partial to it? Like, what's the price point? So.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, I think the Stan Hansen is a beautiful figure, but man, I don't know, man. Hey, best of luck to anybody out there that wants to start a wrestling figure company.
Yes, and don't be confused. We're not talking shit on any of these companies at all.
Not at all.
I think it's so admirable, and I think it's amazing because you know what? Like we know what it takes to put a product out, and there's risk in everything. There's a huge risk in this because now you're bringing on, mainstream talents that people know. And like, if you mess something up, like, you know, you screw up a royalty or something, you know, you don't want, you don't want Stan Hansen going out and bashing you in shoot interviews. You know, I really admire these companies for going out and really chasing this dream. And that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, like, it's getting to the point where we have so many people making figures that I think the excitement of having so many people making figures is going to change to, you know what, I don't really need that anymore. And I feel like more people are going to just revert back to things like Elites and Unrivaled, just because it's like, well, now those other companies, everything is $40 to $60 each. I could just get these Elites that are $23 to $25 each. So things are going up, and you know, everything's getting expensive. That it's
inflation is ridiculous, and I think it's also the market manipulation, which is a problem. You know, I think it's a bad thing.
It's a great time for wrestling figure collectors, but at the same time, in the world in general, with not just figures going up, not just gas, like your weekly groceries are like 20% higher. Your property taxes, your everything is going up. That like now people are going to have, just in general, less money to spend on hobbies. So it's like, well, am I still going to support these small companies? It's like, I think that's where people are going to end up.
It's not even small companies though, Mike. And just, I'm going to transition before we end. Like, look at, I was a big proponent of these Upper Deck AEW cards, right?
Yeah.
And I had bought, and I'm gonna divulge, I invested $5,000 into purchasing AEW Upper Deck cards, and that was my limit. You know, I was like, I'm gonna purchase $5,000 on hobby boxes, on blaster boxes, and I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna see if these first editions hold their value, and the risk reward is very small. I mean, like, my best card, I would say, probably out of all my pulls that I have in hand right now, I would say would be probably these two. It's like, I have a 1 in 25 Santana, which I don't think he's going to ever be the greatest wrestler of all time. So God knows what the value of that's going to be. And then probably my FTR. And if they continue to be an outstanding tag team, I mean, again, this is just a base autograph here, you know. Yeah. I mean, so, you know, you look at that, and I'm sitting on a ton of stuff. I'm sitting on a ton of memorabilia. Like, I have Jungle Boy, and I have Darby Allin t-shirt memorabilia cards, and I have, you know, Orange Cassidy t-shirt memorabilia cards, and all this stuff. But I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, will this stuff ever pan out? And the problem with I personally think with card collecting these days as well is nobody gives a shit about base cards anymore. You know, but what Upper Deck did was, with this first set, I mean, God, hobby boxes, 16 packs in a hobby box that is going for $200 on their website right now. They set the retail price at $200 for a hobby box of 16 packs of wrestling cards. And then most other e-tailers or hobby stores, whatever, are selling them anywhere from $200 to $300 a pop on a hobby box. That's like $17 a pack for 8 cards. You know, like you can buy them right now in Upper Deck, EPAC Doc, or Upper Deck EPAC for $12.99 a pack. Like, where does it go? I mean, are they intentionally saying, well, okay, because this is a first edition, then automatically they're going to be like worth more? Do they want to hold inventory back? Do they not want people to have it? Like, I just don't understand any of the strategy behind it. Now, I was an idiot and I was like, okay, first edition hobby, new product, new brand, rookie wrestling figures, rookie wrestling cards. Let me try to invest. And I'm putting together like base sets for people I'm going to sell. And there's like a base set. There's a gold base set. There's a pyro base set. There's a dynamite base set. There's a rainbow special edition base set. There's autographs. There's, insert cards. And I'm just, main features, top rope, roads to success inserts, all these. And I'm just like, is any of this ever going to even be worth a goddamn thing? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, collecting in general, if you're looking to make value out of it, which for me, figure collecting, I don't always look at it that way. I do know that I have stuff that's value, but I do think with cards, people do look at it that way. Like there could be value in this, and it really is a gamble in the truest sense of the word, because when you buy something, you don't know what you're getting.
Nope.
And
it's like the lottery.
It is. It really is, and it's scary. Like you said, you dropped $5,000 on cards, and then like before you opened them, there's this Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory feel, like is the golden ticket in there, and you never know. It could be, it could not be. You might not know until 20 years from now. Yep. And that's just not my style. I could never do it. Like, it would just stress me out. Like,
hey, you know what I'm thinking, Mike? I got a Wardlow card here right now. That's 1 of 50. That's the main run right here. The 1 of 50 Wardlow.
Listen, there's a few guys that I truly think that when their contract is up, there's going to be a big bidding war. And I do think Wardlow is going to be one of them. I think he's going to be a star, not just in AEW, but a star in wrestling. I just think, I don't know about you, but when he came out the other week in like the suit, like the dress shirt and everything, I was like, man, this guy he looks like a star.
Yeah. And
he's got the look. He did decent on the mic. He's still fresh with that stuff. He's fun to watch in the ring. I just see.
I had the pleasure to
see it for him.
I agree with you. And it's so funny you mentioned that too, because I had the pleasure of speaking with Mark Henry about it over the weekend when I was down in Orlando. And he said, if you're going to watch out for one guy, that's a big guy, because we're talking big guys. And I thought, Keith Lee looks even better than he was in NXT and stuff. And especially in Raw and the main brand. Mm-hmm. He was saying, like, everybody, you got to watch out for Wardlow. There are gonna be some big things coming for him. And I just think he wasn't talking about with AEW. I think he was just talking about as wrestling as a whole, because he's been there and he's done that, and he's very honest. And he even said Hobbs. He's been working with Hobbs. He's lost 17% body fat, man. He looks
Hobbs looks great, man. He
was there
does.
too. I was talking to Hobbs, man. Hobbs is great. He's looking great. He dropped the weight. And yeah. So anyway, long story short, as it comes to collecting, like you said, so saturated right now. Prices are just, like I said, who would have ever thought that there would, for initial release of a product, $200 for fucking 16 packs of cards? I would have never thought it in my entire life. My entire life.
I see, that's hard for me to justify. When I saw what were they selling packs for, $12.99 or something? They were
$12.99 on EPAC, and then the blaster boxes retail are supposed to be $19.99 or whatever, but Ringside was selling them for $35, and then I think most regular online places are selling them for $40 to $50 a box.
But the EPACs, it's the same amount of cards as a regular pack, but it's all online. And if you pull, say, like an autograph, so you pull a Wardlow auto, You can transfer that to a physical card.
Yes, so I pulled one of the rarest cards off of VPAC right now. I actually have a Matt Jackson base set auto, and I think it's of a one of like, I don't know, seven. I know, like I don't know, 13,000, something like that. It's crazy. It's literally crazy because I guess certain superstars or wrestlers sign less than others in this autograph thing.
But
And
but then you have to pay to get it transferred to physical, right?
it's only the payment is for the top loader and the shipping. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's 35 cents for the top loader, and then what I've done is for all my EPAC stuff that I want to transfer to a physical copy, they use a company called COMC, COMC, and yeah, so they'll send. So it's so funny because I didn't know how it worked, and I had initially bought Punk, like a bunch of Punks, and they were all in my EPAC, and I'm like, holy shit, I could transfer these. So now I have like 3 Punks. So if you need a Punk, I got one if you want one. But anyway,
wow. So
yeah.
they're including those like the Bryan Danielson, the Punk, the Cole in those EPACs.
No. I initially got that on EPAC, so they were EPAC
I gotcha.
only. Like Bryan,
I gotcha.
Cole, and Punk were initially EPAC only.
Okay.
And then I did not know at the time because I didn't even know how the process worked that you could transfer it into a physical copy. So I bought like 3 Punks upon release, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks that I'm not going to be able. They're not going to be able to send it to me." And then I got smart. I did my research.
Gotcha. No, because I did get those 3. And I did order the Keith Lee recently too that he did. But yeah, with the first time with the Punk, like I was like, what is this process? Like I was like, and they made it sound like if you don't order the physical copy at a certain time, you're not going to get it. And I was like checking like every day, well, can I get the physical? Can I get the physical? But like, it's just worded very poorly on there, like how it all works for somebody who's never done it before. It is a little confusing. But then once you do it, it's not as confusing as they make it sound. Like
not at all. Once you're in it, you're boom, 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 boom. I have like 100, almost 100 cards coming to me.
Yeah,
you know, like...
but the wording and the way that they make it all sound, like they make it sound like there's a good chance you might not get these physical cards if you don't do it this exact way. It's like, it's really not that stressful. It's like you just fucking order them.
Yeah. You just you have a picture of your card, and it's not the card you're ever going to get, obviously, but yeah, it is. And then you just send it to your little cart, and then you check out, and you're good to go. But
it's a pretty cool concept, honestly, when you think about it. Like that,
it is.
You can order
digital
packs.
Going back to your book, though, I don't know. There's something about ripping them open and seeing what you have versus you know, like I'm pressing a button on.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then they have an option too that you could just like open them all at once. And then just see what you got. Like, and I'm like, like, I don't know. And then the funniest thing, there's like a secondary trading marketplace, and all these people, like when I got a bunch of like rare cards, they just start messaging you and they start sending you trades, and they're like, no, you can't get a physical copy of that because there's achievements, and then there's bonus cards off the achievements. I'm like,
oh, God.
Calm down, guys. Like I don't care about the achievements, really. I don't really give a shit about it at all. You know, like, just give me the cards that I want. You know, like I don't care about the achievement cards and stuff. Like whatever. But anyway, so I set my limit. I spent it, and then I got some good ones. Hopefully there's like some return value in the future, but I'm in the long game. Like you said, I mean, like, so we are collectors. I don't mind waiting another 10, 15 years. You know, they're cards too. Like, you know, if I have to make a big move, which I probably will in the next 10 to 15 years, you know, most of my collection would be probably up for sale. And then, you know, I keep the pieces I really love. This stuff right here is not going away. My like prototypes are never going to get sold until I pass away or they're handed down, you know, and that's it. You know, it's that simple.
We all have stuff like that. Like, you know, there's been times where I've like gone through stuff and I'm like, oh, I would never get rid of this. And then, you know, times come where like I just get rid of it because it's like, oh, you know, I need room. I don't really care about this anymore.
Exactly.
I'm never going to stop. I don't think I'll ever stop loving wrestling figures. I don't know if I would ever sell my whole collection flat. Like, I'm sure over time I'm going to sell things here and there and then add new stuff. You know, that's how I see my collection going. But if I ever did completely get out of the game, I'm positive that I would continue to keep up on what's coming out and this, that, and the other.
Of course,
But
you always want to be involved in it some way, shape, or form. I think that's that's the most important thing. Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks so much for coming on again.
Yeah, man.
You know, I want to thank you for all the work you've done with me, with the promotion of the KWK bodyguards as well. Those are amazing.
Yeah, man. They're awesome. So like,
thank you.
I mean, I've already expressed this on Instagram. So basically, you know, before we go, because I do want to watch Dynamite, but
yeah, I do too.
Essentially, the ringside collectible ones I had a big problem with, and I was very vocal about it. They damaged 4 or 5 of my Chase AEW figures, the ringside collectible Defenders.
Yep.
And not we're not talking 1 of 3,000 ones. We're talking like 1 of 500, 1 of 1,000. My Series 1 Chris Jericho, one of 1,000, completely damaged it, put massive creases all over it, bent it up. They're not fit perfectly, these ringside collectible ones. And Will and Sean over at KWK, they put together these, they're called bodyguards. It's basically a 3-piece protective system, and it fits them like a glove, but not like a glove that's going to squeeze them so they get fucking creases in these valuable figures. I was very angry about the damage that was done to it was about $1,000 worth of damage done to figures for something that was supposed to protect them. Yep. And I couldn't believe that people were like, oh, get over it. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, I spent like $120 to buy these protective cases that are supposed to protect my collection, which in turn damage it. So I spent like $120 for them to damage $1,000 worth of collectibles. That's something to be upset about.
I was in the same boat, bro. So I had them all in my other figure room on the top, and you start posting photos. I look at my I look at my figures in the boxes, and I'm looking at comparison photos. I'm saying, oh my God, this is bent here. It's crushing. And it's because they have this system that is foldable here, and it
squeezes it.
Yes.
And it creates these creases. And you know, Ringside reached out to me. We're like, oh, this is the first we've ever heard of this. Nobody's ever said anything like this. And I said, I screenshot my DMs. I said, I got about 15 people that are agreeing that they've had the same issue and they've contacted you about it. And that's the truth. Like, I had a bunch of people like DMing me saying, I just read your thing and I went and looked at mine. They were like, it's the same thing and it's a crease in the exact same spot. Yep. And I tell people, like, listen, they have them, but do it at your discretion. There's a chance it could damage it. And that's up to you if you want to make that choice. But these are 3-piece, so the back is separate from the front, and they also have a clear outer shell that you can put them in, but you could also use this for other things. Yes. And so I put my DM Shawn Michaels in it, and I think it looks great.
Yep, and you can do elites. This is the second. Well, let's start. I mean, obviously, really quickly with the first elites. I'm sorry, I'm not talking into the mic. First elites here. So they do fit mainline first series elites as well. So you can buy, and you have the option to buy just the boxes or the combo pack. The combo pack, you're going to get a big deal. So the first 3 real big series of Mattel elites are all going to fit in these boxes, these collapsible boxes, and they're pretty tight. I mean, it's not going to be super form fitting, but I don't think it needs to be. I don't think that's a deterrent on the selling point. And then as Mike said, I mean, as you can see, this is a 3-part system for the AEW. They slide in real easily, they slide out. And if you can even see here, Mike, and I don't know if this was ever explained, this cut on the AEW figures changed because they went to different factories. So a lot of the earlier figures had a problem fitting in ringside protectors, and the later figures actually too, because this cut changed. So we made it actually, or I would say I want to give this all the credit to Sean. Sean made it as such where I told him that this cannot happen. So he made this in a way where it will not crush these areas and make it hard to get your figures to come in and out of these cases. As you can see, they're just falling right out. Yeah. But they're still in there protected.
The ringside ones didn't fall right out. You had to kind of like peel them out of the package, which it squeezes it and it creates that problem.
Yep, so. Pops in, you have the hang tag, and then again, fits so
the Hasbro one, I have a lot of my Hasbros in the ringside ones, but
Yep.
the thing is, there's larger Hasbros that don't fit the ringside ones that the KWK does fit. So, KWK, they fit the Hulkster Hug, which depth wise doesn't work with the ringside defender ones. These ones are a little bit thicker. The Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, a little bit too high, doesn't fit in the ringside collectible ones. And I'm trying to remember who the third one is. There's a third Hasbro. There's 3 Hasbros that don't fit in the
Yokozuna.
No, because I have Yokozuna. He fits in them.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an unassuming one, and I can't remember who it is. It's just like their placement on the card is a little too high, so it doesn't fit in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To the square for ringside.
Interesting.
But these work for them because of where the cut is on this square. It's up a little bit on the W, which helps because that allows everything to fit.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And not only that, it will those outer collapsible boxes will also fit your later defining moments figures as well. And I do have a smaller defining moment here. So if you want a collapsible box for your later defining moments, it fits it pretty well. I mean, a little movement on the side. So we're not talking about, it's not going to hug your figures, these boxes, but they have the UV70 protection in it too. So it will not discolor the outside of the boxes, the window of the boxes, or damage any of the figures in these collapsible boxes, which is great. They are a little difficult to remove. And I just want to tell everybody before we go, sometimes once you seal them, it's very difficult to get them out. So these may break over time. We're trying to work with the factory to kind of come up with another way. So it's really meant to stay in here, guys. Really meant to stay in here. You're not supposed to remove them. With the UV70 protection and everything, this is kind of like an all-in-one package here. And then I do have ringside figure protectors for retro figures too, and this is one of them, and they actually fit inside the version 2 box, the collapsible box for ringside collectibles figure protectors as well. So if you just wanted to buy the box and you had a bunch of these and you further wanted to protect your figures, you could do that, and you could throw all of them right here in our collapsible box for retro figures as well. And the last one, which I think is a big one for AEW before we go, and I didn't plan this well, Mike, because I thought that I had enough room without my headphones, but it seems I don't because I'm so unprofessional here. I'm the most unprofessional YouTuber out there. Boom. Your 2-pack AEW 2-packs fit in the collapsible box style 2 that come with the retro figures. So if you just wanted to buy some of the clamshells for, like Mike said, some of the Hulkster Hug figures and didn't want to use this outer box, buy the package. And if you have AEW figures, boom, you have a beautiful display for your 2-packs right there. And
man, they look great.
They look great. You gotta do a little movement. They're not going to be a full hug, but
But that's what happens when you have a variety of. You're offering a variety that they cover, so.
Again, the intention was to be multi-purpose, right? We wanted to have these kind of span across lines. We didn't want them to fit a certain line. And yes, you can get them in and out if you wanted to, but you have to be very careful when you're pulling those tabs out because sometimes they could break off and such. But other than that, again, Mike, thank you so much. Please,
no problem,
where can we find you? And give us some information about where we can find you moving forward and such.
At Figheel on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Just search it and you'll find me.
And that's it. The Figheel is there. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast Uncensored. I want to thank you. Remember, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SQDCircleAFP. You can find all your KWK figure bodyguards at www.sqdcircleafp.com. Thanks for joining in tonight. Have a happy Dynamite. I know we went a little over, and we will be back next week with another guest. Remember, we're the gold standard in wrestling figure collecting, baby. All right, Mike.